and welcome to this educational video. Compared to the previous century, this century there is more awareness about diseases of the brain and diseases of the central nervous system. So scientists and clinicians who are working in this field have realized that for many diseases of the brain, for example, there is diagnostic options, there are diagnostic options available, there are treatment options available. But for certain set of neurological disorders and psychiatric diseases, permanent cure has not been successfully achieved. This has prompted several clinicians and scientists worldwide to look for alternative approaches and complementary approaches to see whether such approaches can be used along with existing therapies for optimal treatment. Today we are going to discuss about such complementary approaches that could be used along with drug treatment in Parkinson's disease patients. So we have with us our expert Dr. Ravi Yadav, who is working as Professor of Neurology in NIMHANS. He is also our expert in the field of movement disorders and Parkinson's disease. Namaste Doctor, and welcome to this program. So these days, when you look at the literature, you look at news articles, for management of anything related to healthcare, it's not just drugs or injections or surgery. We keep hearing about how to improve one's lifestyle or how to make sure you can use other things apart from whatever drugs are given. So can you elaborate few such approaches that people have used for better management of Parkinson's patients?
Yes, so this is very important, because as soon as the person is diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, we start initially primarily some medications and advise on various lifestyle measures which we discussed in the previous video.
Correct.
And to aid this, there are a lot of exercises as well as yoga, speech. So which part of the body is not functioning? So because in individual patient there may be different problems. For example, if a patient's voice is we call it hypophonia. So that the volume of the speech is low. He has to speak, people will ask him to speak 2-3 times because the volume will be low.
So this is a symptom along with the motor symptoms.
Yes. So it is a motor symptom itself. So the volume at which the voice comes down in a normal person. So he or she will be speaking in low volume. So that will impair his communication with the other person.
Correct.
So we ask them to start on speech therapy. And we have in NIMHANS we have very good speech department.
So you have to ask for them. Take help from them.
Speech therapy is done. So reading the newspapers loudly, or reading out the novels or stories loudly. And so with different approaches are used. One is speech therapy. Then comes the yoga is very important. In our country, since a lot of people are educated, know this thing. But you have to remember that for yoga, there is our NIMHANS has prepared a module for yoga center where they are tailored to Parkinson's
specifically, because it's not that all exercises could be suitable, all yoga practices. When you are talking about yoga, we are talking about yogasana, where they do all asanas, and all asanas need not be compatible with Parkinson's.
Absolutely.
And this will be, like you said, tailor-made only by an expert.
Yes.
I mean, you will be one arm of that,
yes,
that particular thing, and the yoga center will help prepare that.
Yes, they have prepared already, and we recommend for many of our patients.
Correct.
So there, it is we have to take care that there is no pain or there is no because restricted mobility, go slow, and simple yogasanas are advised. And Dr. Pooja is working on that project also, which is funded by Government of India. So we are giving one group of patients a particular module and seeing, trying to see the changes in the different parameters in the MRI and other things.
But when you say yoga, so these people, whether they do yoga or not, still they take the drug. They take L-Dopa.
Yes, yes.
So if you, let us say there is one group of Parkinson's patients, so those patients take the drug, but they don't do yoga. The other patient will take drug plus the yoga, do the yoga.
Right.
Okay, okay. But this is, they have to do yoga on a regular basis.
Yes, obviously they have to be compliant so many days per week for so many weeks. Then only results.
Then only you see the difference.
It is not like you do it 2 days and then forget
correct,
about
correct. Because these kind of conditions you require constant
change in the pattern of living.
Okay. So, and also what you mentioned, maybe I want to reiterate, because this is a movement disorder. So the patient will have, you know, limited a movement of the hands, mobility, or mobility, and also the limbs. So there are, so the patient will, I mean the patient's condition will determine what kind of exercises.
Yes. So if in the early stages the symptoms are not so much, the mobility. So at that time we try to enhance that
so that
exercise,
he's able to cope.
So that the progression is not fast enough.
Okay.
In case in advanced stages there is a limited scope for doing too much of these things because of the skeletal deformities and problems which may develop, pain and permanent arthritis which may develop. So then it is not possible.
Because especially because this is in patients who are, I mean, generally aged 60 and above. Some people might not be able to sit or stand for a longer period of time. Okay.
So that is the reason, the earlier it is started, the better it is.
Earlier is okay. So, but is this an accepted modality, or is it still in the experimental stage?
The evidence is, the scientific evidence for support of all this exists. But to say that it is going to alter the course of the disease is too premature. Means the progression of symptoms or the reduction in number of dopamine cells, that has not been found. But overall non-motor symptoms definitely improve.
Can be, but that itself is a good help to the patient. Yes. Right. So you are talking about yoga asana as an important thing, and any other way, any other kind of.
So the many country specific people have done. For example, in our country, yoga
asana is the one. Yes.
Then Tai Chi has been tried in our center also. There was a study where
Tai Chi
is I think a Chinese way of doing a slow movement related rhythmic movement of the body. So that is
also like an exercise.
That is also like a is like a martial art, but I think tailor made into form of mobility related strengthening exercise. Where too much of force is not applied to the body. Passive, slow movements, rhythmic. Then there are other things like in different countries, various their own individual martial arts have been tailor made.
So those things can also help in these patients. Okay. So it should be a combination of all these things. But I mean, one person can follow only one thing at a time, right? So you can have a medication and either yoga or medication and Tai Chi. But there is no, is there a difference when you do Tai Chi versus yoga? It's not like that, is it?
Individual studies, I do not know, it has been done, but individually they help. And another very important thing is when the disease process becomes a little advanced, freezing of gait develops. The people tend to freeze on the floor. They are not able to take the step forward. So then there is a different set of cues, visual cues are provided with a form of light, alternative stripes on the ground. So they are, or cycling may help in those conditions. So that is also, that occurs in moderately advanced Parkinson's disease. So these things may also help in that.
So this kind of approach is what will be beneficial. And do you think this kind of, let us say it really benefits? Are there centers which can help with yoga?
I think
of course it should be a combination of a yoga expert and also a neurologist like you.
So we refer the patients to if there is a known, for example, in our center we have yoga center who people are there dedicated who are working on this. Speech therapy and physiotherapy department is there for gait training. We call it gait and balance training. So balance and gait also problems happen in the moderately advanced PD. So on turning there is freezing of gait, chances of falls if they develop. So gait and balance training is done by physiotherapists, and that also is very useful for.
That's what you told, that light and stripe.
Yes.
Can
so
you
on
explain a little bit?
So these are visual cues. Somebody got stuck on the floor because he's unable to take the step forward. So if there is a stripe, for example, like a zebra crossing, if you see, there are stripes, black and white, or a checkerboard pattern like in chess you see. So that gives a very good visual cue, and the patient is able to walk very nicely.
So he or she will know where to put the next step.
Yeah, it is like a trick to the brain.
So so that you know when to move and where to take a turn.
It is easier at that time. If the floor is bland, no marks on the floor, then these patients are stuck on the floor. So these are the things which we tell. Laser sticks are available which can be used, and sound tap can be used, and freezing of gait. So these will be tailor made based on the individual person's problems.
But that also sort of highlights the complexity of this condition, because you need support from all angles, whether it is about talking about the mental well-being or the physical health, physical activities. So this makes it, that's why, I mean, even a physiotherapist is involved, apart from neurologist, a speech therapist is involved, and also yoga expert is involved, or Tai Chi expert is involved. Thank you, Dr. Ravi, for providing information about a new field or a new approach to towards complementary treatment of the existing drug management of Parkinson's. Thank you, doctor. Namaste.